Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another piano tutorial. My name's Kyle and today we are doing Let Somebody Go. And before we begin, I just want to give a huge thank you to Gabriel from Singapore for helping me out with this one. I will say our versions kind of differ a little bit, so I will leave a link to his Synthesia lesson in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment, just so you can kind of compare the two and play the differences that you like. I think they both sound great and they're both very similar. I just kind of based mine off a few different things that Chris does in the Ellen DeGeneres performance. So yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so starting off with that intro, that's kind of the main riff throughout the entire song. And I will say for your right hand, for the most part of the song, here's middle C. You're just going to kind of be hovering on this G, C, E, G chord, and you're just going to be shifting mostly that middle note around. Sometimes your thumb might shift, but for the most part, this chord right here is pretty much it for your right hand. You're not going to be moving, anywhere crazy. Left hand's going to be doing a lot of bass stuff. So starting off, I will say for this part too, you can play octaves. I usually play single note the first time around and then octaves the second time around. So I'm just going to start off with the single note in the left hand. So first chord left hand is on A, right hand G, C, G. Next chord left hand goes up to B, while the right hand you're just going to add D in. So G, C, D, G. Your third chord, left hand goes up to C, while your right hand D note goes up to E. Next chord, left hand goes down to E. Right hand is just G, C, G. Then left hand goes up to F, while the right hand lower G note goes up to A. So from the beginning. Left hand, A, B, C, E, F, and then right hand you're just starting off with G, C, G, throwing in a D, moving the D up to E, going back to the G, C, G, and then just ending on A, C, G. So you can see right here your right hand isn't shifting around too much. So that's the first part of that main riff right there. Now for the next part. Right hand, you're going to be on G, C, E, G, and you're going to walk this E down to D, and then play that chord once again, and then walk the C down to B. And then your left hand, so there's 4 chords right there. On chord 2 and 4, your left hand is on G and D. Just repeat once again. Second time around, like I said for the intro, is where I throw in the octaves. And I will say too, for I think some of the live performances, as well as just the album version, for this fourth chord here, you can just play the single note B. He kind of varies a little bit. In the Ellen DeGeneres performance, he will play that, but he'll also play the full chord. So for example, so just that B in the right hand, or you can play the entire chord. But that's it for that intro, which is also, again, the main riff and the chorus for the entire song. All right, moving on to the verse, sounds like this. All right, so there's some chords here. Again, right hand's pretty much staying in the same spot the entire time, just shifting up a little bit. So starting off, left hand is C octaves. This is middle C right here, if I didn't mention that already. Right hand is G, C, E, G. So we had a kind of love. Second chord, left hand, E octaves. Right hand, your E, just shifts down to D. So we had a kind of love, and then I thought that it would never end. This part should look familiar. Left hand is A, right hand G, C, G. And this is the intro we've done already. We're just going to walk up. So same thing. So A is going to go to B and then to C. Your right hand is going to go G, C, G. Throw a D in there. And then move that D up to E. And then Oh My Lover. Left hand is going to be B, C, D. The right hand is going to be G, C, D, G, C, E, and then G, C, F. Left hand, come back down to C. Right hand, you go back to that C chord, G, C, E, G. And then finish, left hand goes down to B. Right hand, this E goes down to D. And just hold it right there. And then we kind of loop that again with 2 changes. Before we loop it though, right hand is going to be G, C, E, G. You're going to play that entire chord and you're just going to walk down. So the entire chord and then D, C, G. And then we're right back to the beginning. So starting off with that first from the very beginning. So now we're looping back to the beginning. 2 changes here. So for that first chord in the left hand, instead of playing C octaves, you're going to be on A octaves. But everything else from here is the same thing. And then right here, once we get to this last chord, instead of playing B in the left hand, you're going to play G and D. So once again, the second time around, you're just starting off with A octaves instead of C octaves. And then you're ending with G and D instead of the single note B. So there's the verse, and then we move into, which could be part of the verse, but I like to consider it the pre-chorus. Sounds like this. All right, so for this part, we're kind of just on this F chord right here, and we're just going to walk up and then walk back down. So left hand, F, C, F. Right hand, A, C, F, A. We play that twice, so this is when everything was going wrong. So an F. So we walk up to G, D, G. In the left hand, right hand is B, D, G, B. Once again, walk up 1 right key. Left hand A, E, A, right hand C, E, A, C. And then from here we just walk right back down. G, D, G, B, D, G, B. And then F, C, F, A, C, F, A. And then here we have 2 more chords. So we started with this F chord. Walked right back down to it. So turn off all the stars because this I know. So this part here, you're going to keep these 2 C's and you're just going to shift everything else down 1 white key. So left hand E, C, E, right hand G, C, E, G. This chord too, he might actually omit this C. So you could just play E octaves if you want instead. So turn off all the stars because this I know. And then on this I know we have this familiar chord right here. Left hand G, D, right hand G, C, D, G. once again from the top. And how we're playing this, we're kind of just playing this in time. So just like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You know, just kind of straight, just like that. Now once again, right here for this part, sometimes I think for the album version, this part, he just holds onto that chord and it just kind of rings out for a bit. In a live version, he might continue walking down to B, but kind of varies right there. But that's the pre-chorus right there, and then we move on to, once again, we're just at the chorus, which is just the main riff. The only difference here is instead of just playing the intro, we're going to play that first part once. So we're going to play the A, B, C in the left hand. Right hand is G, C, G, G, C, D, G, and then G, C, E, G. So this is the hurts like so. So hurts like so. And now we have To Let Somebody Go, which is just that main riff. And then right here we're into verse 2. All right, so from here, the song pretty much just does a loop on itself and repeats, aside from the bridge. So I just want to go over the structure of what we just played. So starting out from the very beginning, we have that main riff, which you play twice. So the main riff overall once sounds like this. So that right there is once through. So for the intro, we play that twice. Then we move into the verse. So we just have those chords. Once again, we're repeating it. We just have those left hand changes. The left hand right here is the G and D. Then the pre-chorus. The chorus. Now right back to the main riff. And we're just playing it once. So main riff once right there. And then like I said, we're just looping back into the verse. Same exact thing you just played. If you're trying to mimic like the live performance, here he'll play the chords a little more often in the right hand. So something like... something like that, but that once again just loops, same exact thing. Then we get into the chorus once again. We play this riff for a total of 4 times. All right, before we go on to the bridge, I just want to show you the 2 piano riffs that play in the background for the second chorus. All right, so all that is we have G and E, which shifts up to A and F, back down to G and E, as we walk down from C to G to F, and then to E. Then that next riff, we're on D and B up here. So same thing, we're going to shift up to E and C, back down to D and B. And then similar thing here, walking down from G to D. But instead of continuing down, we're going to go back to G. So G, D, G. So those are those 2 riffs right there. We have that first one, and then the second one right before the bridge. Those actually come back again later on at the end of the song. Just the first one though, not that second one. So yeah, moving on to the bridge, we have this part here. Alright, so once again right here, you'll notice the right hand really is just staying on this chord, and you're just shifting the middle notes pretty much the entire time. So you have these, this G octave right here that is just staying there the entire time. So left hand is pretty simple. It's just octaves, so we'll focus on the right hand first. So starting off with G, C, E, G. And we're pretty much just going to be following the vocal melody here. So we have this chord 3 times to start off. Then we kind of start walking down. So this E goes to D. Then the D comes off. G, C, G. Now when you love somebody, we throw the E back in there. So when you love, play that 3 times. Now somebody, we have just G, C, G. Throw the D in there. Move the D to E. And there's that right there. So when you love somebody, and then continue walking up to F. So G, C, G, throw the D in there, up to E, and then up to F. And then same thing here, when you love somebody, we're just following the melody. So we have this G, C, F, G chord 3 times. And then same thing here, somebody. So somebody is just G, C, G, G, C, D, G, and then G, C, E, G. This time though, instead of walking the E up to F, we go back down to D. So G, C, D, G. And then got to let, so same thing, 3 times. Now somebody go. So a small change here, we have G, B, G this time. The B goes up to C, G, C, G. Throw the D in there now, G, C, D, G. And then we're just right back at the beginning. So slow recap on the right hand. So moving on to left hand, we just have 3 octaves here. C octaves, we play those twice. Then we go down to F octaves, and then G octaves. And I will talk about some transition notes you can throw in there as well, but we're just going to focus on that for right now. So starting off. So we walk down from the G, C, E, G, down to just G, C, G. That's when we play the left hand once again. So C octaves to begin with. They come back in right there. Now, when you love somebody, when your right hand gets to this F right here, left hand goes down to F. So that when you have that part where you go from C, D, E, and then back down to D, left hand shifts to G octaves. And just keep looping that. Alright, so the transition note I mentioned there, he plays for the Ellen DeGeneres show. It's just B octaves, and then C octaves. So when you're playing it, as you're transitioning down to the F octaves, you can play the B right there. You play that with the G, C, D, G in your right. And same thing here. So when you play G, C, D, G in your right, left hand goes, instead of B, you play C. That's before you go to G. So again, left hand is just C octaves twice, and then F and G. But between the C and F, you can play this B octave, and then between F and G, you can play C octave. All right, so recapping the first part of the bridge here, nice and slow, both hands. So once we get here, we just loop that entire thing 2 more times. The second time is the same exact thing. The third time we have some changes. This is when he says so, when they say so. So for here, major change is just the left hand. So instead of starting off with C octaves, we start off with A octaves. And then the second time we do have C octaves. So what we can do is we can walk up from A to B and then to C. So. So when we go down to the D right there, so kind of the key here, you'll see a lot of those transition notes are just on G, C, D, G. So once again. And then just finish off like normal. Right here we have It Hurts Like So. So kind of getting close to finishing off the same way. So we have that chord 3 times. And then we have 3 chords right here. So right now we're already on one of them. Left hand G octaves, right hand G, C, D, G. So it hurts. And then like we have left hand moves up to E octaves, right hand just shifts to D up to E. So G, C, E, G. So hurts like, and then on so, left hand goes down to D octaves. Right hand just shift this E up to F. G, C, F, G. So once again. Hurts like so. Alright, so the outro for the song is just the same as before. Same main riff, we're just playing it 4 times. However, the first time we have a change. It sounds like this. So, in the beginning, it's the same thing as before. Let Somebody Go, and then once we land on the F in the left hand, right hand's on A, C, G. We have It Hurts Like So. So right hand's gonna play a chord by itself. What we're gonna do is move the A down to G, play G, C, G. So it hurts, so it, and then hurts. Move the C down to B, left hand comes back in on G. And then like so, we're just going to move the B in the right hand up to C. Left hand goes up to A. And then finally left hand up to B. While the right hand, we just throw a D in there. So once again from the beginning. So right hand first. It hurts like so. And then here, we play the same thing we did before. We just have G, C, E, G, and then walk down D, C, G. And then we're back at the beginning and we just loop the same thing. However, the second time, third time, fourth time, it's the same main riff. So you play that 4 times. And I will say too, kind of a different thing he does in the Ellen DeGeneres performances is for some parts here, when we have, for the first part, he will be on G and E instead of G and D. And then he'll shift the E down to D. So something like this. So right there we have G and E. Than G and D. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or just something actually he threw in there, but he does do that in that performance. So once again, we have that 4 times, and then we have the ending chords, which are pretty simple. Just sounds like this. So all it is, left hand, A octaves, up to B, up to C, up to D. Right hand is just G, C, G. Add a D in there. Move the D to E, and then the E to F. That's the very last time. So looping that into the chorus, we have. So this is the very last time. So once we have that, you're still with me, now I know. The bass riff comes in, and we just have those chords. That's it. And that is the end of the song. Alright, that's going to wrap it up with this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still having any trouble, you can check out the Synthesia lesson I did, which is just the song played from start to finish, no talking, just so you can kind of see everything put together piece by piece. I will leave a link to that as well as Gabriel's version in the description below and in a pinned comment, just so you can check out the variations he has. And I also did a cover, and I invited Reese Wisner, very talented musician, to play bass on the cover, just because I thought it would add something a little bit extra. So you can check that out as well if you'd like. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.